There you go. $18,500 speaker cables. Jesus.
Gold speckled Italian marble.
I...
You were walking around in your listening environment. Spinning it around, catches the light from all angles.
Dang, wireless headphones made all the difference. Dude, I used to hate the idea of wireless headphones. I thought it was dumb. Like, why would I ever care about not having a wire? Turns out they're pretty damn good. The only problem I have, and there are certain models that fix it. There are some models that have 2 Bluetooth chips instead of just one. And Bluetooth chips are only rated for a bandwidth. Mine pair with 2 devices. Okay, that's perfect. Because one Bluetooth chip only has, if I recall correctly, like 44 or 48 kilohertz of bandwidth. 44 kilohertz of bandwidth is the quality. Here come the useful diagrams, yes. 44 is the quality, is CD quality. 48 kilohertz is DVD quality audio. So the problem comes when you're using them as a microphone and earphone. You have to split the bandwidth between the mic and the earphone, and that ends up giving you shitty quality on both sides. That was a fucking useless diagram. I need to buy myself like a cheap sketch pad, like for the computer, so I can like actually write stuff down in Paint. Trans as fuck, yes, dude. I love my graphics tablet for that. Yeah, it's mostly because of you. You showed me like how you can use the graphics tablet. I'm like, damn, I want that. Oh yeah, there you go. I'm listening to Machine Girl, Phantom Tracks, 2015. I know we were talking about it with my brother a while ago. We were thinking about buying a tablet for my mom because she's an artist, and then it gets a bit rough, right? Either we go like ham and we buy a professional tier tablet because she is like an accomplished painter and artist, but we don't know if she's actually going to use it that much, or we buy like an entry-level tablet and then maybe she won't be very satisfied with the feel of it and it won't have a screen, etc. I don't yet know like what we should buy her. I asked Melon, we had like a discussion about it because she uses a tablet for her art. She does only digital art. But yeah, I was so mad when new iPhone didn't have headphone jack, forcing me to get wireless headphones. But turns out wireless is pretty good, I got to admit. Yeah, it's really good. And wired headphones still have their place, but hey, look, like my headphones, they still have a wired jack port. So I can still use them as wired headphones. The main thing that took getting used to for me was the noise cancellation. Or when in the first month when I was wearing those headphones, the noise cancellation made me feel like I had something pressing against my eardrums. It was a very weird sensation, but I got used to it. Gehyunhyo got one for emote making too, and he was saying how it came in handy in his work meetings too. Yeah, I can imagine. Buy a tablet. Yeah, I'll for myself, I'll buy like a cheap tablet. I don't need a good one. Why would you willingly lose the soundstage? What do you mean by soundstage? I talked about noise cancellation. Oh, with closed headphones? Honestly, those headphones were given to me by someone who's not an audiophile, and I'm glad, because dude, you audiophiles are fucking weirdos. Like, jerking yourselves off over gold-plated connectors. And look, the closed headphones are because it's noise canceling, that's all. Those are noise canceling. Those are great. Sometimes when I'm on a flight in an airplane, I just put them on and turn them on and don't listen to anything. And then they just cancel out the hum of the airplane. They're so good. Or in the train. Like, they actually work so well for that. Wacom is good stuff. Yeah, I've heard Wacom is good. It's like one of the main brands, right? Look, don't tell me how to jerk off, okay? How are you? I just got here. That's all I heard. No worries. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? True Audiophile. Oh, I think I know what turn it just linked me. It's going to be like the $500 cables. No, even worse. Yeah, 18... Oh, my God. An $18,500 power center. That's Putin's PC setup, true. Yeah, those guys have the weirdest fucking equipment.
Statement level product from HB Cable Design of Germany. The Powerslave marble.
It's made out of marble.
It's housed in a striking.
Okay, this is literally for people who are so rich they don't know what to spend their money on.
Gold speckled Italian marble.
Gold speckled Italian marble.
The sides of the marble are beveled. To the top of the unit.
Why? Yes, when I buy like a power patch like this, I really care about the bevels and the gold speckles in my marble. This is amazing.
Mid base. about 2.5 inches with a bevel here.
Mm-hmm.
Bevel on the side.
Beautiful. Yes.
Base itself is beveled as well.
It's beveled as well. Amazing.
And as if you were walking around in your listening environment, spinning it around catches the light from all angles.
Yes. It catches light from all angles. That's one of the most important characteristics of this kind of equipment. It catches light from all angles. Very, very important for the electricity to flow correctly.
For the power distribution of your audio system. The HB cable designed Powerslave marble incorporates both copper and silver for the main runs inside the unit. On this reference level product,
did he just say he's using silver cables?
Run for each of the 8 outlets.
Silver runs, oh my god.
Is to reduce noise coming in from the AC lines into your listening environment.
Hi, this is peak Zimos, yeah.
Let's take a look inside the unit.
Let's take a look, yes.
Bars and machine. 3 legs
Okay.
per side. Again, more copper foil.
Dude. Okay, I'm not an expert on the like bullshit audiophile stuff or noise reduction, etc. But I have done electronics. I as a hobbyist, I have meddled with electronics. And as a sound engineer, I have worked around the noise from AC. I understand exactly what problem he's claiming this solves. There is nothing inside here that addresses the issue of AC noise. Your wall plug does have noise in it, the electric current. And to remove that noise from a system, you need a circuit. You need a specific circuit that's gonna take out the noise from it. Usually that happens in the power supply stage of your equipment. The power supply, the stage that's going to convert your like mains power to the power that's needed inside your electronics. It's supposed to have specific parts that are just there to reduce noise. This has nothing to do with noise reduction. There is nothing here that reduces noise. Yeah, capacitor banks, exactly. It's stuff like capacitor banks will reduce noise. This has fuck all. This is literally just cables. There are no capacitors here. There are no electronic components in here. You're just jelly, you want to have Italian speckled marble.
Per side. Again, more copper foil.
I don't know, man. I think if the marble had that many bevels, how could the noise not be reduced? That's true.
Proprietary wrappings here.
Proprietary wrappings, by the way.
Leg for noise reduction. And here, you can get a better look at the cork inlay that dampens the unit.
Cork has no electronic properties. It doesn't dampen anything.
On the far side, you'll see the ground. Circles around and returns.
Look how those cables reflect the light perfectly. Cork, why? How does cork dampen anything? The utility of a plastic one is just very literally. Yes. Where's my
Termination of the legs.
Wait, I actually don't have a spare plastic one to show. They're all like hooked up to stuff. Yeah, I just stand up, I unplug one and unplug my computer.
Design. Powerslave marble. Made in Germany.
Made in Germany. The way he barely touches it, as if it's indeed expensive, makes you want to buy it even more. True. I'm pretty sure those are the guys who do like a $10,000 cable as well. This is such a meme shop. Let me check if it's them. It says 1 on that. Probably the only model he has. Oh no. He really wants to sell it though. In a previous job, I would sometimes bevel various stones so the edge doesn't chip, and it's very satisfying. I could see. Italian marble, made in Germany. Guys, they're working together again. Oh no. And they can afford the price to do a proper video. Okay, where's the cables? Award winners. Speakers cables. Let's go. There you go. $18,500 speaker cables. Jesus. Now at True Audiophile. ASP reference Medusa is a Stage 3 concept's ultimate statement in amplification speaker interface technology, and once again we offer the only speaker cables in the world using vacuum as a dielectric. A vacuum is the ultimate electrical insulator, always superior to inert gases. Vacuum tubes are never filled with nitrogen or helium for a good reason. A multitude of unique technologies have been incorporated into this cable to virtually eliminate distortions of any kind, but special attention has been paid to mechanical damping of the highest level. The ASP Medusa is the only available speaker cable using ferrite, ceramic, and high-density alloy granules to provide an almost perfect combination of shielding and mechanical anti-resonance damping. The combined granulated materials make the cables extremely heavy, so equipment height and placement must be taken into consideration. A layer for HDA, high-density alloy, foil, as well as plated braided copper add additional layers of EMI, RF protection, offering an unprecedented level of sonic purity and an utterly black, empty silence. New conductor cross-section and geometry offer marked improvements in precision and realism over our previous speaker cable designs. Our unique palladium-silver alloy ribbon conductors deliver pinpoint accuracy with defined sonic layers in a natural, wide, and palpable soundstage. Oh yeah, palp my soundstage, daddy. The extreme gauge of the combined conductors maintains a very low resistance, resulting in the most impactful low-frequency performance your equipment is capable of. By the way, yeah, raising the gauge of the cable will mean lower resistance, but it will also mean higher capacitance. It will literally contain more charge, and capacitance acts as a sound filter. I'm sure they've like calculated that into their bullshit, but this is the same impression I get when Magic Turtle talks about the present value of NFTs. Bro, I'll take 10. Whoever wrote this also writes fanfics 10,000%. True. You should give this description without telling what it is. Nobody would guess what it is. Yeah. I found out they are using the shielding technique to lower the noise from the electricity. No, shielding doesn't lower the noise from electricity. Shielding lowers noise from ambient radio frequencies. So we're going back to Paint. So say you have a cable from like in, out, and you'll have all sorts of waves around it, right? If the cable is properly shielded, those waves will be absorbed by the shielding instead of affecting the current inside. That being said, multiple cables can also create noise for each other. So if you have a second cable running parallel, noise in cable 2, let's say cable 1, noise in cable 2 can transfer over to cable 1. So that also can happen. I'm also a computer engineer. I learned about this during my electronics classes. I have never been made aware of shielding lowering noise inside. I don't know why when I hear the description of this product, I hear, for your comfort, we crushed hundreds of African children in mines, so the sound flows like the blood out from their crushed body. Jesus Christ. If you add in some rare metals, then that would actually be an appropriate description, sadly. Shielding technique, you twist it like a braid and shield it like the video in the power strip. So, okay. I think we're talking about like different things though. What you're talking about to me sounds like what's done in asymmetric cables. Asymmetric cables, and braiding also does help against interference. I don't remember the principle with it, but you're right, it does help with interference. But then there's also another level of thing. This is what happens in XLR cables if you're working with sound equipment. XLR cables, not always, there are exceptions to this, but usually XLR cables are going to be transferring an asymmetric signal. So you're going to have three wires inside an XLR cable. You're going to have the ground, of course. You're going to have and you're going to have two signal wires, usually called like plus and minus, but doesn't have anything to do with polarity. One of them is going to be out of phase with the other. Out of phase meaning if the signal here is like this, the signal here is going to be like this. It's going to be the opposite of the signal above. Meaning, and the idea is those two wires run along in the same space. They're bundled together in a single cable. They are going to collect, when we are looking like at radiation earlier, they're going to collect the same interference, both wires, which means that on reception, when you put them back in phase with each other, you're putting the interference out of phase. Which means that suddenly, if you add the two signals together, you get the original signal at twice the intensity, and you get the interference cancels each other out. Because then the interference will be the signal that will look the signals that will look like this, and oh wait, I messed that up. Yeah, there you go. And if you add those two signals together, you get 0. Those cancel each other out. Dan, they had like a golden cable at some point. I remember seeing memes about it a long time ago. I wonder, like, this is like the bullshit stuff. I wonder what the cost of amps is going to be on this website. It's going to be like insane. What's up, pneumatic isolation? What? Linus did a video on it. Oh yeah, he did. How is gold related to electronics? I wonder if anyone knows. The idea is that gold is a really good conductor. I think it's mostly just marketing. Obviously, the metals that you are using are going to impact the actual electronic characteristics. But like 99% of the time, it's just gold plating. It's literally just gold plating. It's not actually affecting the signal in the way you think it is. But from a marketing perspective, it's really cool. Like you're paying more for the extra conductivity and etc. What is this useful for? It's a pneumatic isolation device developed by Pneuance Audio. It uses air compression as its major isolation method. The rubber diaphragm is a superb way of containing the air and allowing it to isolate on all planes. When placed under the digital analog converters I have in use, there is noticeable improvement in the overall focus and definition of instruments and voices. The soundstage seems to have more depth. There is noticeably tighter, more natural bass. The overall sound is cleaner. Oh no! Oh no. Most platforms are shelves on an equipment rack that are sitting on a suspended floor. The acoustic energy from the audio system is usually transmitted to the floor and back up through the equipment rack and shelves. The shelves also act as receivers for the acoustic vibrations. The end result is major vibrations are making their way to the component. If one can properly isolate these vibrations from entering the component, the improvement in sound quality is quite noticeable. Guys. Oh, you said bass low like the fish? Yeah, it's bass, true. Dude, those people are so delusional. Those people are actually, like, clinically delusional. They think they can hear the differences in sound signal from, like, a feedback effect of the vibrations vibrating the tubes and electronic components of their amplifiers. That human hearing doesn't work that way. And or you're playing the music so fucking loud that the vibrations matter in the electronics that this is not about an audiophile experience then anymore either. This is insane. I can tell the difference between 300 kbps MP3, I assume you're saying, and FLAC actually. Look, up to like 160, 192 kbps MP3 and lossless, most people will be able to tell the difference for sure. Past, I think it's 192, it starts to be really hard. Like some people will still be able to see the difference, but you're gonna get a lot of people who are just gonna like be full on placebo, thinking there's a difference in what they hear. I'm doing more research. Marble is a huge, strong insulator. No wonder why they use that for the power strip. I had no idea until now. Well, yeah, but that being said, plastic is just fine as an insulator. Like, the reality is they put in marble to make it more expensive. What about their digital analog converters? Let's see what kind of sound cards they sell. Marble is expensive as hell, lol. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You got an acrylic version without the marble. New Okinoki 1 record cleaner. Okay. Alchemy pre-DAC headphone DDP2. Wait, this is just for headphones? Wow. And a $3,000 sound card just for headphones, by the way. I think Neyman actually encouraged more people to buy marble supplies rather than debunk it, lol. Yes. 384 kilohertz? 384 kilohertz conversion? Okay, dude. I need to hear ara ara ma in the highest quality. Yeah, it's configurable upsampling to 384 kilohertz. So remember, yeah, it's an it's not an amplifier. It's a converter. It also has an amplifier inside. Probably it's a converter from a digital signal to an analog signal for your headphones. Okay, remember when I was talking about the... Wait, scroll up, sure. Remember when I was talking about the... Didn't say amplifier? Oh, preamplifier. Yeah, it's got a preamplifier inside as well. DAC preamplifier. Okay. Remember when I was talking about sampling frequencies? 44 kilohertz is the standard frequency for audio CDs. 48 kilohertz is a standard frequency for like film, so DVDs. Those are arbitrary. Those aren't arbitrary, but basically 44 is like the minimum because our hearing range is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. And if you've studied information theory, you know that Shannon Nyquist, Shannon Nyquist discovered that to properly digitalize a signal, you need to sample it at over twice the highest frequency you want to be able to capture. If I draw it, it's actually pretty obvious. Say you have like this. This is a signal. This is a weird signal, but it's still a signal. This signal may be composed of all sorts of frequencies. It may have some like 20 hertz frequencies. It may have some 30 kilohertz frequencies. It probably doesn't matter if I'm capturing the 30 kilohertz frequencies when I am capturing it for human hearing, because human hearing barely goes over 20 kilohertz. So if I sample at a 44 kilohertz sampling rate, I will have a good enough lossless signal of like music and audio for human beings. That being said, there are reasons to have higher sampling rates. If you're working as a sound engineer, there is a principle. When you work on a signal, you want to work on a higher sampling rate, or a higher gain rate, or a higher quality rate. It works for video as well. You want to work on higher quality stuff so that your modifications, once it gets downsampled for release to the general public, so your modifications have been done on the highest quality possible signal, so the overall quality of your work gets rendered better. That is a very important characteristic. If you're working in sound, you want to be working... Right now, the industry standard would be 192 kilohertz signal. This is twice the industry standard for professional audio editing. 384 kilohertz into your ears. And you know what's really funny in this? Upsampling. Because there is no exists no digital music signal. You're never going to find it. Nowhere online will you find someone encoding audio at 384 kilohertz, 384 samples per second, 384,000 samples per second. No one is creating lossless audio of that quality. So what you end up getting is upsampling. Upsampling is nothing more or less than running an algorithm that magically generates the samples to artificially add more samples. It will just use, so to go back to Paint, say you have like one sample here, one sample here, one sample here, one sample here, then one sample here. If you want twice as many samples, so obviously, you know, it makes like a curve, something like this. You want more samples, you can have a math function that's gonna generate the intermediary samples based off of what the curve should look like. This doesn't add anything. This doesn't add anything to your signal. You're literally filling in the blanks. This adds no new information. So RTX for audio, no. Uh-oh. Linus Tech Tips is an audiophile. I'm scared.
Most of my friends who have tried this cried.
I don't think I had any idea what I was getting myself into when Abyss reached out offering to send me the world's highest resolution headphones.
That Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem, yep. Oh, Tyrannid, I stumbled upon a really fun mail. Did you know that Shannon was a close friend of the Scientology guy? What's his name? Ron L. Hubbard. So there is a letter. There is a letter sent from Shannon to, I forgot who, some other like world-renowned scientist, saying, hey, please check out my friend Ron L. Hubbard's science fiction books. They're really cool. Also, by the way, I'm a bit busy right now. I'm working on some small paper on like information. He doesn't. I think it's a he. He doesn't call it information theory. Like, but it's like there's so many like funny things in it. Where like one of the most important theories of the 20th century, the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm working on the small paper. No big deal. And also the whole Ron L. Hubbard connection.
I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Send him over, I'll like chuck him on my head and try him out or whatever, and then no. I got not one, not two, not three, not five, but 6 boxes. They sent over the ultimate listening experience and this guy, DMS, to actually show me how the whole thing freaking works, which apparently involves turning on the heater in the warehouse because it doesn't like work if it's cold or something.
We're gonna learn something today.
If you're looking for more performance, treat yourself to GeForce this holiday season with an Origin PC powered by GeForce RTX graphics. Check it out at the link below to learn more.
That's a cursed.
So this is the Stackzilla,
Yes.
4-shelf system. What are you trying to sell me today here? Because
And their jingle is cursed when it goes so fast. Anyways.
so far we've got special fancy racks that hold 100x the weight that you would conceivably want to put in them.
Yes.
That sounds dangerously like audiophile to me.
Oh no, there's a point. So this is about as crazy as somebody could go for a setup with these headphones. You could totally make it work with like half a gear, but this is if you want to go with the most absolutely insane setup you could possibly think of and cover every base.
Okay. So that's the Stackzilla. Now this is a more fancy pants stack than I've ever seen. It has
Yes.
an HDMI connection labeled I2S. What the devil is that for?
It is a whole bunch of things that would take a long time to explain. But the really, really short version of this is that it's an R2R DAC. There's basically 2 types of DACs, Delta Sigma and R2R, and R2R are the nice ones.
So what is R2R?
R2R is essentially a different architecture, and a lot of people praise it for being more resolving in its high frequencies and less prone to quantization noise.
So before we go any further, how much is this?
I want to say that's a few thousand. Yeah, the DAC is $3,400. Now the big point,
$3,400. How much is this going to cost when we're done?
it's a lot cheaper than Orpheus, but the point
That's
is,
not a selling point.
it's not a selling point. But
Cheaper than Orpheus. That's like saying, oh wow, well, you know, this car is cheaper than a Bugatti. Like,
you're right. I mean,
so
you know,
tell me about this insane piece. This has to be an amp. Look how big
that is an
look at
amp.
the
That
heat
is a 6 watt per channel Class A amplifier that 11 Audio made, and it is made specifically for Abyss's flagship headphone.
Here's your, what, this is
Jesus.
RCA.
Yeah.
These are RCA inputs. That is our power delivery. We need 7 pins for power delivery.
Yeah, you can go IEC, but this is the better way to do it. Here's the interesting thing about this. 6 watts per channel, right? There are two.
Okay, RCA is a perfectly functional audio signal like cable standard. It's perfectly functional. It's also terrible when it comes to like interference and like capturing ambient radio frequencies and all that kind of shit. Like, if you're using RCA cables, you might actually want to invest in like more expensive cables and all that stuff, because the shielding on everything is going to really matter with RCA. Why are they using RCA in an audiophile setup? But if it's shielded, well, it's better if it's shielded, but it's still like it's like one of the worst standards you can use if you care about the quality of your audio signal. That's what I'm not understanding. I guess they're using it just because it is a standard. It's a very standard one.
Separate amps inside that. It's 2 monoblocks.
That's so
There's
weird.
no way at all whatsoever that you can get crosstalk or interference between the amps.
No crosstalk. I was really worried about crosstalk.
I know, you seem really concerned.
What I need to do is get my sweater off.
It's a little bit warm in here, isn't it?
LTCstore.com.
That is the big old power supply for our amp.
Got it. So the amp doesn't even include any kind of...
It does. You can plug an IEC in there. And actually, I use that same thing at home with an IEC.
But if you really want to crank it to 11,
Yeah.
then... Look, I apologize to the very nice people who sent all this stuff for this. I still remain very skeptical. Is this a special power squid?
No.
Or power brick?
No, it's just better to be prepared.
There's an iPad in here.
I got another iPad here, though.
Okay, so-
This one I actually made a playlist on.
Bi-directional noise containment.
Oh my gosh, you look so mad. That's palatable.
Next thing you're going to be telling me they're danceable. So we've also got just a stand for the headphones. Yep. And this appears to be a cable, presumably for the headphones.
Yep, it is mini XLR.
Okay. Is this a locking
It is.
connector for RCA?
Honestly, those are really convenient.
Okay, that's kind of neat.
Most of my friends who have tried this
That is
cried
cool, yeah.
the first time.
I'm not going to cry.
A locking
I was only
RCA
expecting
connector is really cool.
Diana's, but you tell me that these aren't even the same thing.
So
Okay.
one of these is Diana version 2, which is like their cheapest thing.
'Kay.
Then there's Diana Phi, which is like their really nice thin one.
Got it.
And then there's 1266, AB 1266, which is like the big monster.
Let's go straight for the money shot.
So there isn't really a overall best out of all of them. Some would say that's this one, the 1266, but in reality they all resolve somewhat similarly. But they're different sounds for different people, and obviously different use cases.
Got it.
Like this one, I wouldn't take to the grocery store.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't wear this to the grocery store either.
It's great in my living room. Well, there's pads on
I mean,
it.
it doesn't look any dumber than AirPods, I guess, so.
I didn't have a good thing for that. Everything about this is designed to last your entire lifetime. That's why it's a strange shape.
So there's some ear cups in here.
Yep,
presumably one of
these are big old thick pads. You can put them pretty much any angle you want because they magnetize on.
It's a nice strong magnet. Well, I would consider that to be reasonably comfortable at this point.
If you bought every single thing in this room,
Yeah.
you probably spend around $34,000. I'll play like 5 seconds of this.
Wow, I actually, like, I don't need it as loud as
The
I
dynamic range.
normally need, yeah.
All right, here's another thing. I'm just gonna keep going through these.
Sure, yeah. That is very tight.
Yes, it is. This is one I don't even know if it's music, but it's like some crazy sounds.
I just
Easily
realized.
just be-
Oh no! If you're using this, you literally have 2 cables hanging from your head. There's one separate. Okay, so they care about the quality of the signal when it comes to using XLR on both, like separate XLR on each earphone, but they don't use XLR when it comes to the preamp. I guess because at some point it's hard to like people. I guess it comes down to RCA just being an industry standard, but
sitting in a bar.
Yeah.
They're so open.
that's so
It
weird
sounds
to
more
me.
real than real life.
It's very natural.
Yeah. So in like the imaging.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's-
that's the thing. It's perfect.
oh, bass is so tight.
Oh yeah, that's flat down to like 7 hertz.
Like, you can almost feel it in your chest, even though it's just here.
I could find something with bass here.
See, in almost every video that I did about headphones, way back when I used to make videos about headphones, I would complain about bass. And it got to the point where I think a lot of our viewers thought I didn't like bass. I do. It just has to be done right. This is about as right as I could possibly imagine. They're not comfortable.
Yeah,
No
well-
offense to the Abyss guys. I feel like a science experiment right
I
now.
wear the Phis a lot more. This is amazing like this.
Yeah.
I have used these before
Yeah.
on $100 amps.
Yeah, I was
This
gonna ask,
makes-
like, what if you hook them up to an O2 or something?
You could. These like power. You need something with power. There are cheap
Okay.
things with power, but this is like, you know, we talked about ultimate system. This is the ultimate system. And it is, trust me, it's better this way.
So how much are the headphones themselves then?
You want all 3 prices?
Just this one.
That one?
For now. $5 grand.
$5 grand.
Okay, why don't we step down?
All right, you want to go to the middle now?
Okay, so
That's
this is a
lot
much
lighter.
more conventional
All right, cool thing about
headphone
this.
shape. Wow, these are really like...
Yeah.
mm.
So this can flex a little bit too, but notice these do have the sliders on the side. There's a note about that. But when you move it,
Yeah.
there's no pins, there's no springs in there. Those are permanent magnets. That adjustment mechanism will always hold. I'll be 100 years old and that'll still be the same.
I bet the same guy who
these
made
ones a little easier to
Powerslave
drive?
Marble
A little
made
bit.
this.
So, but here's why.
Maybe,
that
yeah.
driver is very similar to this,
Yeah.
but the speakers are obviously closer to your ears. And because of that, you get a much more intimate vocal sound. So the mid-range is a little bit more full on this in comparison.
And it feels more like I'm wearing headphones.
This is more speaker-like.
Got it.
But resolution-wise, they're on the same
Sound
level.
great.
Yeah.
There's no distortion to the vocals. It's almost like they're on a completely like if I had a multi-mode fiber connection, it's like they're on separate light wavelengths. Like
It's because it's so fast. Okay, this is the bassiest song I have on the entire thing. If anything ever messes with vocals, it's this, and I never really get to do it on that.
yeah. So here we've got a female vocalist
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of just
Everything in
like
this mix is warm.
Yeah.
And there are songs I've listened to that there's nothing but warmth, and you can still hear everything.
it's almost like the lower the note, the deeper it goes into your body.
Yeah.
So this is the original master. That's Tidal's whole shtick, right?
Yeah.
See, this is one of the reasons that I actually have not heavily invested into audiophile gear because it really makes me not enjoy my trashy pop music as much as I usually do.
I've had that problem a few times. But I mean,
I'm not the kind of person who's like, yeah, you know, wow, the mastering on this song is like so great.
Right.
But that's not a great
yeah.
sounding.
The thing is, though, is
song.
too, like, there's so much music that I enjoy, whether it's mastered well or not. So that was the $5. These are $1,000 less than that,
Okay, so these are $4 grand.
and these are $1,000 less than those.
Okay, so those are $3 grand.
Yeah.
Hit me with the second to last bass heavy one we tried.
Pod in 1 hour.
This is a more
Shouldn't
pleasing
just
sound to
went
me.
live.
It's more relaxed. It's not quite as analytical.
Just as
No,
fast.
it's
Wait,
now.
What's the difference
No?
in the driver tech then?
It's
It's
got
10
slightly
PM.
less resolution than these. Not a lot,
Right.
but these are going to perform a little bit differently on like stuff like decay. And yeah, the tuning was meant to be a little bit more, relaxed. But they want to go for more relaxed, but just as much detail.
Right. Because it's hard to have a ton of detail without it being a little fatiguing to listen to.
That's exactly it.
With that said, I didn't, at least in my 10, 15 minutes, find those fatiguing in the same way that I do some
Yeah.
super analytical headphones.
That's the difference between using it on this and using it on something a lot cheaper, Power.
They don't sound as good as the top tier ones.
They're
no doubt.
$2,000 less.
But they sound better than any other headphones that I've ever tried. So it's like, if I had to say which
It's
is
still
the best headphone,
$3,000 headphones.
Yeah,
Jesus
well,
Christ.
it's a lot easier to daily drive.
But that to me is like, it's almost like a different class of product. It's a speaker you strap to your head.
This is, I'm
with
going
a
to sit
bracket,
down and have like
mounting bracket.
Yeah, this is like I'm going to sit down and
Yeah.
have an out-of-body experience or something.
Yeah. You know what though? I feel if we want full effect here, I should probably put those back on. Sounds so good.
I'm sure they sound really good though. Ximos does this. Overpriced. Yeah, the whole setup.
Not particularly well.
They're reviewing like the ultimate audiophile setup. It's $34,000 with like a preamp, like a custom preamp for the headphones, a special power supply for the preamp, like a $5,000 DAC,
This is the, you know why I'm into this stuff?
and the like
It's
insane
because if you're
headphones.
something really good, you're not listening to the gear, you're just listening to the music.
Yeah.
There's nothing between you and the music.
Well, what I can say is that when I'm listening to my music instead of your music, I completely forget that I'm wearing, a shelf bracket on my head. Like I didn't notice it anymore at all. It's still like it's heavy, but it didn't bother me in any way.
Comparatively speaking, I find it a lot easier to wear the Dinas
Yeah.
during the day. But there are times where I sit down and I'm like, all right, this is going to be an emotional one.
These are a totally different listening experience, even compared to their mid-level products. It's funny that you say that people like the cheapest one
Mid-level.
better. I mean, it's
Talking
definitely
about
not because it
$3,000
sounds better.
headphones.
It's way more comfortable. Honestly, my expectations were pretty low because, I've seen a lot of audiophile stuff that's like, yeah, that's nice, but like, where's the bang for the buck argument? At least here, to be clear, we're talking about $3,000 to $5,000 speakers, but
I think this is a lot more fair than a lot of crazy stuff out there, though.
yes, it's about, the context for it.
Because, I mean, they're not just going for, this sounds crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
They're literally, like, the screw thing. They're building something that's going to last literally forever. Was it?
It just sounds unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you use Wi-Fi a lot on your smartphone, why are you paying for a fixed
Okay. You can get some seriously dank headphones for like 200, 400 range. Absolutely. The like price quality ratio there is weird. Concerning frequency response and sample rate, I guess we don't know if there are any subconscious effects of analog sound that we can't consciously detect, to be frank. Yes, absolutely. And that's why, like, I don't hate on, if you have flex and you have them encoded at like 96 kilohertz or 192 kilohertz, like, that's cool, man. Honestly, that's cool. Like, most sound systems want to be able to properly reproduce the signals past like 30 kilohertz or something, so a big part of it is not going to matter that much. But it's not like you lose anything from having a better signal. You're not losing anything, and you do get those extra like vibrations in the air and all that stuff. That is true. And those vibrations, like you might not hear them, but you might feel them. You can argue that there are ways that they affect our perception that just aren't quantifiable in like pure hearing, perhaps. But we're talking about 384 kilohertz with upsampling to reach it. So like artificially adding data points to the signal. That's what I was laughing at. They have an $18,500 power block. It's nothing more than just splitting power between a bunch of plugs, made with like Italian gold-flecked marble, silver cables. It's the craziest bullshit I've ever seen. And with the cables too, they have like they have like $18,500 cables, 2 meters, a 2 meter pair for $18,500. That is some good stuff.